Hello everyone and welcome to WrestleLine. This is the WrestleMania preview. I'm your host John Scott, joined as always by my co-host Matt Essex, and we welcome you to this full WrestleMania preview. Yes, I thought I'd play that as the entrance on our cue through there. The traditional WrestleMania theme from number 10, believe it or not. Matt, did you ever own that album, the WWF album at the time? I think it's the WrestleMania album actually from 1993. Was that ever something that you owned? This is the rap version that they did, and it's just one of those things. This track, it's probably my go-to WrestleMania theme for me anyway. Just growing up, and it's always something that's stuck with me. Of course, Linda McMahon ended up using that theme as her entrance, which was a bit odd. But that's what happened over the years. So, guys, I want to welcome everyone and thank everybody who's basically been waiting for this to happen on notifications on SoundCloud. Had a massive response from that, so I want to thank everybody for that, and also everyone that's been emailing in for the podcast. Of course, this is definitely by far our earliest preview for a huge WrestleMania week. But what we've decided to do is all the matches that are confirmed as from now, we are going to be looking at and covering. Of course, we'll literally go over any cracks that are available, and of course all the latest news. So let me just let you guys know what we're going to be doing here on the show. We are going to literally start from with NXT Takeover. We're going to have a quick rundown on that, what we're going to get on the Friday. Then we're going to have a quick rundown of the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony of course this WrestleMania as well, and of course WrestleMania 35 itself, along with of course all your questions and all the news in and around. And for a few listeners that actually asked me, some people that are there now and all the rest of it, they said, have I got any kind of news or information about a guide about all the indie shows going in? And we'll take a dive into that as well. And I'm not going to also miss out, of course, the big stuff around Ring of Honor going to Madison Square Garden for the first time. Quite a historical moment as well. So we'll basically do a little summary over that as well. Lots and lots of wrestling going on in, arguably, Matt, the biggest week in professional wrestling has to be the one of WrestleMania. I mean, it is a week-long thing now. It's just become its own platform, if you will, and when you include Raw and SmackDown and of course another NXT as well to go on, so pretty huge. Matt, let me ask you quick questions. I always do, because since we've been on this road to WrestleMania, we've had a few, I'd say a sort of few roadworks in the way. We've had some, near misses, near falls, shall we say, on this road. But are you at any point now, Matt, after we've just come off the back of Raw and SmackDown for this week, any more enthusiastic about WrestleMania than we was last time we spoke?
I feel like it was a bit of a concern, given that they had a couple of pay-per-views between now and the Royal Rumble, and not much had changed. But it just seems like a mad rush to WrestleMania now. A lot of changes going on. We're going to get into some of them title changes, potential people that we think might be at Mania but have not been announced. All this going on, and it's not really panned out the way a lot of people thought it would. This is like how it used to be. You get the Royal Rumble, and then you just build on the road. And you didn't need these pay-per-views, but it just seems like they've crammed it all into these last 3 weeks, and it's quite interesting actually. obviously, and it's a bit of a shame, that maybe they're not getting the ratings that they want because they're really trying hard. And I can see something has clicked now, and they are all about the shocks. And I feel like with people like Kofi, like changing your focus to someone like that, it's a more interesting time than ever.
Yeah, I think you're right, and they're definitely trying to improve, but as you say, the ratings are staying as they are at the moment. But we'll get into that later anyway. Matt, let's start in, because we've got, of course, the which is becoming its own thing as well, the NXT Takeover show, which is, of course, instead of being on a Saturday night, which has traditionally been since it's been paired up with WrestleMania weekend, they're going to go on the Friday. Pretty much because Ring of Honor is going to be at Madison Square Garden, and I just don't think they wanted to go head to head that night, really. But it is what it is, and of course, so it's going to be taking place this time from the Barclays Center, of course, and a pretty historic place for NXT Takeover, Matt, considering it was the first one where it come from all those SummerSlams ago, of course, and they're back there again with what looks like, I have to say, a pretty solid card. I mean, looking at it on paper, this looks like you're not going to go wrong with this. It looks like a nice packed show. Not too many surprises, I don't think, on this. And I think unlike the WWE product, Matt, that we're seeing on TV every week, this is actually, although there has been had to have a huge, significant change with Tommaso Ciampa and all that stuff, it still doesn't seem half as crazy as far as the manoeuvres they've had to do compared to the WWE's TV side of it with those pay-per-views in the middle. I feel like with this one, everyone's had the right amount of time. That 1 hour a week has just been just enough time for all this to work out pretty well, and with a few additions as well. So let's dive straight into it, Matt. We're going to have the War Raiders, of course, Hanson and Rao up against Aleister Black and Ricochet, the sort of, tag team. We're going to say they're pretty much, been put together. Some people like it, some people hate it. For me, I kind of sit in the middle with this one. I'm kind of like not for it totally, but I'm also thinking, what would these guys do solo at this point towards WrestleMania? That's the only problem I have. But I'm glad they're on the NXT Takeover show. And, I'm not really sure I want to see it long term, but I think this is what we've got here. Obviously for the tag team NXT titles, I think it's a solid match to put on. Matt, what's your thinking on this one? And are you pretty much, at this point thinking that Aleister Black and Ricochet are nothing but going up to that main roster?
It looks pretty much done and dusted, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They've made quite a few appearances already. It's kind of one of those just doing the last little bit of fan service at NXT, go out on a loss. I'm assuming that the champions are definitely going to retain on this night. There's not much else that can be done except for them to sort of enhance the War Raiders a little bit and leave a little bit of an impression down there for them. But it's not such a bad thing because, Aleister Black and Ricochet, they're more than ready for the main roster.
Sure.
And I feel like that they will have a great match. It's going to be an interesting clash of styles.
Yeah, it will be. And of course, Ricochet, so exciting to watch all the time. And Aleister Black, I just feel like, the last part of the NXT run he had, I felt like he was getting a little bit stale. But now, since he's had that time on WWE's TV, I feel like there's something about this guy again. He's a freshness to it. Maybe the entrance that they're doing again on the main WWE TV. It looks like maybe if WWE use him properly and put something behind him, he could be a definite force to be reckoned with on that main roster and not get lost in the in the almighty whirlwind that is just what you get lost down sometimes with like everybody else in that mid-card range. So I'm hoping that it'll be a promising start. And like Matt said, I think this is going to be a good match, a clash of styles, but definitely the fact that this is probably going to be their last NXT appearance, they're going to give it their all, and I think they'll do their best to put the War Raiders over here. So for me, I go with War Raiders on this one. Matt, is that the same for you?
Yeah, definitely see it going that way.
Yeah, so it should be a good match. Now, next we've got our own United Kingdom title on the line, Matt. I was really happy that this got included because, first of all, I wasn't really expecting it all that much. But when they announced it, I was quite happy about it. That the fact that Pete Dunne will be defending the WWE United Kingdom title up against Walter in what should be, again, a complete... you'd think a complete mismatch on styles, but these guys, trust me, will definitely pull something out here. Matt, we've seen, we've seen both these guys, in fact, in person, but we watched Walter up against what's his name, didn't we? His blooming name there. Tyler Bate, yeah, and I mean that was a phenomenal match that we watched that night. It was just went and went and went, and just couldn't believe how much they were pulling out. And although you'd think Tyler Bate, a guy of his size, up against Water would just be a complete mismatch, they definitely made it to the point where it was believable every time he went for the pin. What do you make about, first of all, Matt, them putting this on the NXT? Because I've had a few emails and some people are a little bit against it because they're saying, well, it's not giving much to the UK brand if they're going to put this title match on in the States for this weekend. But for me, I do get where they're coming from, but again, I do think this is a one-off, and it is because it's the WrestleMania weekend.
I feel like it's not such a bad thing. I know the UK brand of NXT has its followers down in the UK, of course, because we're invested in that. But I feel like we still need to do some work on drawing in the American audience. So putting them on the American NXT show sounds perfect to me. Nothing better than getting a few extra eyes on the champion and what he's capable of, and perhaps drawing some more people to check out at NXT UK, because it is worth checking out, and the matches are pretty good. I feel like this match that they're going to have, though, is going to be probably the dark horse on the card there. I feel like a lot of people are going to look at it and think, oh, that'll be good, but when it comes time for the bell to ring, you're going to see something quite unique, quite special, because Pete Dunne's never failed to like deliver on the night, so I feel like it's going to be a showcase, and we'll be in for a treat for that one.
Yeah, and Walter, he's such a unique, persona and character that we've seen for a long time in this country, and he's got a very unique style. I mean, to look at him, you think, well, what's so great about this guy? But the way he carries himself, his style is very strong, that sort of strong style. And I think the way he carries himself, the way he speaks and everything is good. It's not like the big guy who's just a bit of a dummy sometimes. He's like actually well-spoken, and, I loved the little... promo he actually done at the show we went to at Wembley, and the way he was talking, and he actually said at the time he wanted Pete Dunne because he really wanted to test himself against what is supposed to be the best, because he was the NXT the UK NXT champion. So I'm really happy that we're getting to see this. I do think it's a good showcase, and I do think, like Matt said, this could actually steal the show in many ways. I mean, it's not going to be a far reach for them to possibly do that. So, Matt, what do you think as far as a result here? Who's your prediction on?
Personally, I'd love to see Pete Dunne's title, incredible record-breaking sort of title run continue. It's very rare we get something like this these days, when you can still keep breaking records and achieving things. So I'd like to see where this goes, and keep the record going, make it something unique, make it something special, make it go down in the history books. Yeah.
Well, as much as that, I've got a feeling Walter wins this one. I've predicted he'll win this one. But you know what? I'm just looking forward to the match, because both these guys, whoever wins, I would not be too disappointed, because I think it will go one way or the other. I think for Walter, the thing that he would do is probably much like he done for Progress Wrestling, is they pretty much stacked this guy at the top, and anybody that come along was tested against this guy, and they sort of made him sort of their own version of Brock in a way. He was that sort of attraction there, so it'll be interesting. But I'm glad that they've got this spot on the show and they're going to be showcased to more eyes, especially this weekend. NXT will be watched